This is my first house concert here. My name is Logozar. I live here, and this is where I record. This is where I raise my family, and really enjoy it out here by the creek. And I really hope to open this up to some more of these shows in the future. I'd like David to come tell a little bit about Whisperings, and then we'll get started.
How you doing? I'm David Nevue. Hello. We are broadcasting live over the internet. So this concert is actually going out, and there are people who are watching. Hello, people. So this is pretty cool. My name is David Nevue, and I am the guy that started Whisperings Solo Piano Radio. I'm just curious how many folks that are here are familiar with Whisperings Solo Piano Radio. Just raise your hands. It's like about half of you guys. Cool. I started Whisperings Radio in 2003, and we started as a little teeny broadcast with no listeners, and within a year we had about 500,000 people tuning in every month. So it got real popular real fast, and it was amazing and wonderful. And we started doing these concerts like this. I think our first one was in 2005. And it was just a test thing. We had 5 artists from Whisperings Radio come together and play in one place. And it was a ball. We had such a great time. And we've been doing them all over the country now. So we're happy to be here now in Texas. I think this is the first time we've done Texas. And we did a show last night in Houston, and then tonight here. And then tomorrow night we're going to be in Dallas. So if you guys have a good time, if you know people in Dallas, we still have tickets. Okay, it's for that show. So at any rate, it's been a great thing because we have over 200 artists on the show now, and it's been a wonderful opportunity for us to meet and get to know each other. And I remember when I started the Whisperings internet radio broadcast, one of my biggest concerns was, am I going to find enough good quality piano music to be able to fill up a radio station? Are there really that many piano players out there that have records, And I was quite surprised by the inundation, just all the CDs that I have received, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of solo piano CDs. Who knew, But it's been awesome meeting all these great people and hanging out and developing relationships and friendships. And so we are here, and we're happy to be here. So we're going to get started. I want to thank you guys for coming, and we're going to start out with Michael Logozar.
Thanks, everybody. I'm going to start with a song off my CD called Autumn Rain. I don't normally try to play memories or experiences, but I did sit down one time and think, well, what would rain sound like? And I'm going to try to play it. And it's kind of cliche, but I did it anyway, and this is what it sounds like. I've been spending the last couple months working on a new CD, and this is one called The Fisherman's Tale. There's a story in there. You can close your eyes and let me know what it is. Philip. Come on, Philip.
All right, Michael Logozar, ladies and gentlemen. have to remember to turn this up for the internet crowd. Hello, everybody. Say hi to the internet crowd. So thank you very much for coming. I am Philip Wesley. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. And the song I just played for you is the title track to my newest album entitled Dark Night of the Soul. The very first album I ever released was entitled Finding Solace, and it came out in 2002. And the music from my first album is very different from what you just heard. The very first album I released was very tender, very soft, very much background music. And I've since released, since the debut CD, I've released 2 CDs of solo piano music, all original. My second album, In a Lifetime, and then my Christmas album called Comfort and Joy. But I noticed that when I would play out in public, that it was my darker sounding music that would generate the most attention with people. There was something very raw about that. And so in an effort to give fans of my music what they wanted, I thought, maybe I should do an album of all these darker themes. Well, it just so happened that this was back in 2006. I was going through a really difficult period in my life and a lot of upheaval and major changes in my life, and I actually became very depressed and very anxious. And during this time is when I began to write a lot of this music. I think it's a remarkable gift to be able to channel all your angst into your art. And so what became of that was my newest album, Dark Night of the Soul, which I actually released in 2008, so I'm actually overdue for a new album. But so I'd like to play something for you also from the Dark Night album. This is another fan favorite. So during that time, there would be days when I would be feeling fine, everything was going good for me, and then there was other days when I would just slip back into just being anxious or depressed or whatever it was I was dealing with. And I think a lot of us go through that, whether it's through a divorce or loss of a loved one or some kind of trauma. And so this piece of music speaks to that. It's about walking that fine line of being okay and being a total mess. So this next piece of music is entitled Light and Shadow. much. Thank you. You guys have heard of the word heavy metal? Well, tonight we're going to have heavy mellow. We're going to bring up a guy named Joe Bongiorno. He's from Seattle, Washington. I first met Joe back in 2007 online through the broadcast, and we emailed back and forth. But officially, we didn't meet face-to-face until 2009, and ever since then, we've been really good friends, and we've done concerts together. And Joe and I, our personalities are so funny because whenever we get in the same room together, we turn in a couple of 10-year-olds. It's the funniest thing. But he's a great guy. I love his music. I was saying earlier that what I like about Whisperings is, obviously it's all solo piano music and it's all in the same genre, but every artist I've heard has their own distinct musical voice. And Joe's distinct musical voice is he's the wine and candlelight pianist. He's the romantic pianist. So you're going to enjoy his stuff if you haven't heard it before. Mr. Joe Bongiorno.
Thank you, Philip. What a kind introduction. I'm going to start with, I guess since I'm heavy mellow, I better start mellow, right? This is a love song that's an original that's on my Candlelight Christmas CD. This is called A Candlelight Waltz. Thank you very much. So wonderful to be down here. I was telling people earlier today, I've had nonstop drippy eyes coming from Seattle to this dry weather. It's a massive change. Don't ever see humidity in the 20% range. I love it. I'm jealous of the sun. I'll trade you guys some rain. You send us some sun up there. Somebody asked me the other day. They said, there's no way it rains as much as everybody says it does in Seattle. I'm like, somebody's lying to you, because it actually really does. It does. It's dark, and it seems like every year the winter gets a little longer and the summer gets a little shorter. So I'm jealous. It's beautiful down here. This is actually my first trip to Texas. I've never been down here. It was just wonderful driving from Houston up through Austin today and looking out at the country and seeing all the barbecue shacks everywhere. And stuff I've seen in the movies, and you always think that's Hollywood. It's like, no, that stuff is actually real. It's very cool. So hopefully I get a chance to try some of it. It's kind of a whirlwind weekend. I hope I get to. But that was a Candlelight Waltz. What am I going to play now? I'm going to go back a couple years. I did 2 concert weekends about 2 years ago in the LA area, and it was wonderful because it was in January, and I love to travel this time of year because I get out of Seattle and I go somewhere nice. I had 2 concert weekends, and in between, I had 5 days off. So I rented a top floor little hotel room on Ventura Beach, just north of LA. And I brought my digital piano, and I set it right up on the deck, and I was looking right out over the ocean. The sun was setting, and I was just in heaven. I started playing, improvising, and I was watching, and I saw a seagull circling around way out over the ocean. And he kept coming closer and closer, and over a period of about 15 minutes, he actually circled down and came down and landed right on the rail of my deck. And I'm thinking, all right, this guy's smart. He's looking for a breadcrumb. He's looking for a snack. I had nothing. He sat there for 20 minutes, and I just played and played and played, and he's doing his seagull thing, turned his head and just watching me. And I pretty much just improvised and composed and wrote this whole piece. And you'll hear it at the end, right at the very end, he turned around as if he was going to fly away, and he kind of turned over and looked at me over his shoulder and flew away. And you'll hear a little minor key at the end where he kind of takes off. This is on my 2009 CD. The album is called Mesmerized. It's very much nature-inspired. This song is called Face to Face. Many people tell me I should call it Face to Beak, but I stuck with the Face to Face. Enjoy. Thank you so much. I want to just take a moment. I know we pointed out the internet audience. We started broadcasting Whisperings concerts a couple years ago. It was just a little project, and it's turned into something with quite a following. I have a recording studio up in Seattle, and I just had this idea one day to see if we can show the world what we're doing at these house concerts. And we typically get anywhere from 100, 200, 300 people all over the world tuning in. People get up in the middle of the night. In Europe, Croatia, people tune in from Australia, Japan, to watch these, and it's wonderful to be able to share. So what I've done is I've made every effort I can to include the internet audience in these concerts. So what we do here is we're going to do a giveaway later in the concert. You all have cards on your seats. We do encourage you to fill those out, sign up for the Whisperings mailing list, and you can sign up for any particular artist mailing list you like as well. We'll gather those later at the end of the concert. But what I like to do is invite our internet audience to join in. I'm going to give away a few CDs later to the internet audience kind of randomly. So I asked the internet audience just to send me an email and tell me where you're watching from and how much you love these concerts. My email is joe@pianohaven.com. It's Pianohaven, joe@pianohaven.com. Just send me an email, and I'm going to randomly pick a few winners. And we'll give those away later. I definitely want to thank some real good friends I know are back in Seattle that are watching this, and some friends and family, some real regular people we have on. We appreciate you guys very much. Before we take a break, we have one more performer. He's Mr. Whisperings himself, the founder of Whisperings. He's also one of the premier contemporary composers, or composers of contemporary solo piano music. Wonderful, talented man, great friend of mine. Great heart, very generous. He's really been incredibly instrumental in bringing this type of music, this solo piano music, back to the forefront by creating this station, which has really become the center and kind of the mecca of the solo piano world. So we appreciate him, and he's going to play a few songs for you. This is David Nevue from Eugene, Oregon.
How you doing? Good. Awesome. I'm going to start by playing one of my favorite tunes. Years ago, I had one of those nights where I just could not sleep. Just lying in bed, tossing and turning. And if you know me at all, you know I hate wasting time. And there's nothing worse than wasting time than trying to sleep and you can't sleep. I hate it. I just hate it. It drives me crazy. I hate sleeping in the first place, but when I can't sleep, it just drives me crazy. So I got out of bed, I went down to the piano, and I had my Bible with me. I opened it to the Psalms, and I was just reading in the Psalms, and I was just praying and playing, and I was just kind of meditating on what I was reading, and just sitting real quiet. And I just started playing this series of notes, and it really caught my ear. And so I started to play with it. And over the course of that night, I wrote this song. It ended up being like a night-long vigil at the piano. So I called this song The Vigil. Thank you so much. I just released a new album about 2 months ago, September 6th. It's a new CD. It's called A Delicate Joy. And it is a happy, wonderful album that celebrates life and faith and family and just the treasure that life is. And I want to play for you a song from that. I love to travel, and I'm really fortunate in what I do. I get to travel a lot. I tour probably 6 or 7 times a year. I go out and play. I'm on a tour right now. It's my second stop. I've got 9 performances over the next week and a half here in Texas. And I love that. I love being on the road. It's one of my favorite things. I love the open sky. I love just the freedom and the sense of just being alive and not caged in an office. You know, I work at home. I got my little office. It's like a little 9x9 box that I work in where I'm promoting and doing all the things that I do, and just to get out of there, I just love it. And a lot of times when I go on tour, I get to take my family with me. We homeschool our kids, which makes it pretty easy to do. It's about half the time I have my family with me, and we just have a blast. We plan little special things for our kids that they can do. Because for them, seeing Papa play the piano again isn't all that exciting, you know. It's like, oh, another one. But we plan all these little things. And what I have found that's been so cool, and looking back over all the years and all the pictures that we have, I love this age that we live in when we can take so many pictures. I mean, go on a trip and can take 4,000 pictures. It doesn't cost me any extra, you know. But my kids' life, their whole life is digitized. It's amazing. But going back and looking at all the photos, it's amazing to just see. You know, the best memories that we have aren't all those things we planned. They're those things that we didn't plan. They're those stops along the way. You know, the accidental happenings and adventures. And I'm so glad that things don't always go according to plan, because it makes life exciting. And the twists and turns, it's just what makes life unpredictable and exhilarating. But this song it's a song just about celebrating freedom and just taking life as it comes, just traveling and just being open to whatever the day has to offer and taking it all in, because every moment is precious. Every moment is precious. And the more you treasure, the more you have to look back on and just appreciate the gift that's life. This is called Traveling Light. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a little break. Before we do, just a couple things. If you're not familiar with Whisperings solo piano radio, out on the table out there in the kitchen, you have to go out that way and then around. Or if you want to take the shortcut, you can go through these double doors and go out here to the deck, and then you'll see the door open into the kitchen. That's where all of our CDs are. And then on the table with the CDs, there's a little card about Whisperings. You can pick that up and just take it with you. It'll tell you where to tune in and tells you a little bit about it. So if you're interested, you can check that out. And then also, as Joe mentioned, we have the mailing list sign-up cards. Just sign that, fill that out, and hang on to it. And then at the end of the concert, we're going to do the drawing, and we'll gather those. So we'll take a little break. And when you hear the piano, that means we're starting. So that's your cue, okay? So thank you, guys, and come and visit us over there in the kitchen. All right, thank you. So welcome back. Thanks for coming back. How you doing?
Good.
Good. You guys all freshened up now? Like cool air feels good. I like that. I wanted to remind our internet audience, hello, we're back, that if you would like to be in on the drawing that we're going to do in about 10 minutes or so, you need to send your email address and where you're located to Joe at pianojoe.
Pianohaven.com.
Sorry. Tell me.
Joe at pianohaven.com.
Joe at pianohaven.com. Was that awkward or what? Okay. Joe at pianohaven.com. Okay, so here we go, and we're going to bring Michael back and start the second half. Here we go.
You can leave that door open if that feels good. Sounds good. All right. I'm going to play a song right now. My 6-year-old told me it sounds like a lullaby, but I thought it was kind of the opposite because it's quiet at the beginning. It gets a little louder. So I'm going to call it Awakening. And here's what it sounds like. This next song is just a little bit of a baby to me. It was just born a couple weeks ago. And I still haven't named it yet. And it's still changing a little bit, but I'm going to play it for you anyway.
All right, Michael Logozar, ladies and gentlemen. I love that song. I love that song. What was that called? Do you have a name for it? Anybody have a name for it?
That's too new for that.
Name that tune. Yeah, great, wonderful. I can't wait till that comes out.
That will be on the next CD. And
Awesome.
probably January.
Great. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be actually releasing two new albums next year in 2012. The first one is called Hope Endures, and it's the follow-up to my Dark Night of the Soul album. So musically, it retains some of the same elements in the beginning of the CD, but then I just spin it into a whole other different direction. And over the years, I've had people request, do you have hymns on your CDs? No, I don't have any hymns on my CDs. So actually, it just so happens in this new CD that I'll be throwing in a few hymns, my arrangements of some popular hymns. And it fits really well with the other music and the whole theme. So we got a question from the internet. This is Joe. This is a good idea Joe had. So he asked people online to ask questions of some of the artists. So Bob writes, "What is your day job if you have one?" Well, a little background about me. I actually worked as a board-certified music therapist for 10 years. My degree is in music therapy. I went to Maryville University of St. Louis. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri. And I practiced as a psychiatric music therapist. I have a lot of good stories. And I got really burnt out doing it. It's one of those professions that has a really high burnout rate. But during that time, I began writing my own piano music and started releasing my own music. So while I'm not doing the music therapy gig anymore, the music has been really good to me lately. And what I do would not be possible without the fans. So thank you to all the online fans and everyone in the audience here. So thank you. So I had a request tonight. I did this song earlier. We had a 3 o'clock matinee show. So this song that I'm going to play for you next actually first appeared on my Finding Solace album. And every artist has a standout song, or what they call an it song or a hit song, if you want to call it that. You just never know as an artist when you write music what's going to reach people's hearts and what's going to strike a chord with people. And so when I released Finding Solace and I would play live, I would notice that this song in particular would garner a lot of attention. And it was because of that I thought to myself, maybe I should write a album with these darker themes since it's what the fans like anyways. So anyways, funny story, I played this song live one time and somebody came up to me afterwards and they said, is that the Incredible Hulk song? What? What are they talking about? So some of you may be too young to remember this, but back in the 70s there was a TV show called The Incredible Hulk. I think Bill Bixby was in that show. And so that's what he was referring to. I'm like, I barely remember the show. I really don't remember the music. So one day I'm online, and I like to sometimes go to YouTube and just see what people are saying about me and my music. And there it was again. Somebody said, he totally ripped this from The Incredible Hulk. And I'm like, what are they talking about? So I actually had to go back and listen. I still don't hear it. I don't know what they're talking about. So I'm going to play this song for you, and you guys tell me if you think Incredible Hulk. So this is my song. It's entitled Lamentations of the Heart, also known as the Incredible Hulk song. Thank you very much. I don't know, do you guys hear it?
Stole it from the hog.
What's that?
Stole it from the hog.
Stole it from the home. So for my last song this evening, I'm going to give you guys a choice here. I can do something really sweet and tender, or I can do something Christmassy and get us in the holiday spirit, or I can do something really aggressive. Everybody wants aggressive. Okay. The earlier crowd wanted aggressive too. Okay. Well, actually, I like playing this song, even though it hurts my hand. So thank you for picking it. But no. Seriously though, it's a lot of fun to play. It's been a lot of piano students have really enjoyed buying the sheet music for this song. It's one of my more popular songs with piano students and piano teachers. But this is featured on the Dark Night of the Soul album. And it was actually one of the later songs that I had put on the album, and it's very different. Most of my stuff is other than the Dark Knight album, most of my stuff is actually pretty mellow, like Joe's. So this is a little out of character for me. That's probably why I like to play it. It's a little fun. So hope you enjoy it. This is my song called "Racing Against the Sunset." All right, I'd like to bring back Mr. Mello, Joe Bongiorno.
I can tear it up a little bit sometimes. I'll play you something a little bit energized here. Let's see. I was a single father very young. I had my daughter. Her name is Taylor. When I was 21, back in the early 90s, and that was even before I started doing piano music. I didn't really go towards the piano and start doing solo piano music until I was about 26 years old. So if anybody's thinking about starting, it's absolutely never too late. This is one of my fondest memories that inspired this song. I was living up in San Juan Island, Washington State, up near the Canadian waters. It's a beautiful island, about 100 miles northeast of Seattle. 2-hour ferry boat ride just to get to the mainland. I lived there for 10 years after being born and raised in Chicago. Just wanted to get out of the city and experience the quiet life. And I did. And one of my fondest memories is my daughter when she was about 3 or 4 years old. She was running on the beach, and she was just so independent and so satisfied all the time. She was just a joy to watch. And she'd play and she'd dance and prance around. And one day she's on the beach, she's jumping up and down, and she's reaching up, and she keeps grabbing. And I watched her do that forever, and finally I went up to her and I asked her, I said, Taylor, I said, what are you doing when you jump up like that? And she kind of gave me a funny look as if I should very well know. She said, Daddy, I'm chasing the wind. So I wrote a song on that memory. This is from my Destined album. It's called Chasing the Wind. Thank you very much. One last song I'm going to play for you. I'm going to greet the holiday season just a tad early, but in a little bit different style. This was the hardest album project I ever did, and I thought it was going to be the easiest. I figured I had all these Christmas melodies in my head, and they're so simple and easy to translate to the piano. I'd throw a little of my touch on the songs, and it'd be a slam dunk. It wasn't. I started working on it in July, and I finished it December 2nd of 2010. It was a ton of work. It took a lot of time for me to figure out a way to make these songs and make these melodies mine, and really kind of completely take the melody within me and add to it in my own style, and just kind of play it and do it as if I had actually written the piece. And to kind of back up the album a little bit, the album it's incredibly peaceful. It's called A Candlelight Christmas. It's very mellow. Very mellow. It's Christmas music to unwind to. You know, if the holidays are stressing you out and you want to feel the festivity, but you don't necessarily need the energy of high energy Christmas music, pop this on. It's big time kickback. And the reason I did this is I worked for 24 years in the restaurant business in Seattle, doing everything. And for the last 7 years, I was general manager of a huge restaurant that did $5 million a year, and it was just crazy. And the holidays were the worst time of the year. I dreaded them. You know, it was so busy, it was so stressful, and I just looked forward to Christmas Day when I knew everything was over and I could actually start unwinding. So that's the little backup behind this. I'm going to play for you a very mellow candlelight version of Joy to the World. should have passed pillows before that one. Sorry. I'm going to do the internet giveaway. Then Dave is going to come up and we'll do the in-house giveaway in just a bit. But I want to thank our internet audience. I had 50 or 60 emails from people all over the world, many different countries. It's really cool. I was back there sorting through them. So I picked an extra one. What I do is I squish them all down. I put them on my screen. I close my eyes and I touch my screen. And whichever one and one of them was like right in between. So I'm like, I'm going to give away two. So the lucky winners are, and for you winners, I will be emailing you within the next couple of days, probably early next week when I get home back to Seattle. But the winners are Tom in Alberta, Canada, Teresa in Kirkland, Washington, very near my hometown, Sarah in Tennessee, and Dave in Massachusetts. Thank you all. I'll be emailing you soon. I really appreciate our internet audience. It's so great to be able to share this with you guys here and with anybody around the world that wants to tune in. I know Michael's going to be doing a lot more concerts here, and he's going to be broadcasting them himself through his own website and stuff. So check that out. But if you're interested in the Seattle concert series that I've been doing, we do them about once a month, and we broadcast those through whisperingslive.com, and that feeds right to my website. You can see the schedule of all the artists coming through. If you like what you hear tonight, I think you'd love this. Tune in from Austin. Send me emails while you're doing, and tell me you were here for this one, and we'll chat it up, and it's a lot of fun. With that, I'd like to invite David up to finish the evening. David Nevue.
So, back in 2003, I lost my father to cancer, and he was a big, big influence in my life. My dad was a missionary, and he was a preacher, an evangelist, and his example of faith was just a key part of my growing up. After he passed away, I really kind of dove back into my musical roots, the music that I grew up with, which was the hymns. I mean, that was just a part, that was the biggest musical part of my life growing up. And I pulled out my old hymnal and was just fanning through the pages, and so many songs just came back, and I was just, it just really made me just emotional, just thinking about all that stuff and my father. It ended up leading me down a road I didn't expect to go. I remember when I first started taking piano lessons, I was 12, and I didn't want to take piano lessons really because I wanted to learn the music that was in, how to play the music in my head. I didn't want to learn to play classical music. And I remember, the teacher just wanting to teach me classical music, and I had no interest in that, so I didn't do very well. But she also wanted to teach me the hymns, and I had no interest in that, But it was just kind of interesting that after my father passed away and everything that we went through, I was just drawn into it completely. And I ended up spending 5 years on this musical journey that took me into sitting down and arranging hymns on the piano. And it was just such a really nice period. I didn't plan to go that long. I started out just wanting to record some hymns, and I went into the studio to Joe's place and to record my album. And while I was there in the studio, during the breaks between playing and doing the takes, I would just sit down and play some contemporary worship music. I'm a worship leader at my church, so I've got all these contemporary music, praise songs in my head. So as I was on my breaks and I was just improvising through these praise tunes, I accidentally recorded a whole album of improvisational music. I didn't realize I was going to do that. But I ended up taking all this time to refine it. But I ended up with 2 albums, Adoration Solo Piano Hymns, which is all hymn arrangements, and then one called Revelation Solo Piano for Prayer and Worship, which has a few hymn arrangements, but it's mostly contemporary praise and worship song arrangements. All this to say, with my new CD, it's my first album of original music that I've released since 2005, so it's been a really long time. But it was 5 years at the piano, just worshiping. And really my father and his passing was what set that in motion. And it was good. It was good. So I want to play for you one of my favorite hymns. It's my father's favorite. It's really everybody's favorite. This is an arrangement of the great, great song, Amazing Grace. Thank you very much. You know, I've done a lot of traveling in my life, but my favorite trip I ever took was back in 1998, and I had a chance to go to Germany with my wife. And it was an amazing trip. I had no expectations of going, but when I got there, I was just blown away. I mean, every day was such a brilliant adventure. Castles and cathedrals and food, and I mean, it was just amazing. When I came back from the trip, I had all this music just in my head, and I just sat at the piano and really quickly just started pouring out all these songs inspired by our adventures and places we had seen and been and experienced and people we had met. And it ended up coming together into this album called Postcards from Germany. But my favorite stop on the entire trip was when we crossed the border into Austria, just about 5 miles across the border. It's not very far. There's a little town called Salzburg. Anybody been there? No? Serious? This is the first concert I've ever done where there's been nobody that's been to Salzburg. I am amazed. Cool. Well, all right. Let me tell you about it. It's an awesome place. The whole center of town, the old part of town, it's off limits to cars. So it's just cobblestone streets winding through the shops. And when you're walking around, I mean, you feel like you're going back in time. And we were there right in the middle of November. So the day we were there, it just started to snow and snow and snow. Big, huge, giant snowflakes coming down. And when night fell on the town, they just lit that place up because they had it decorated for Christmas like you wouldn't believe. So there's colored lights everywhere. The snow's falling, music coming out of the shops. They had a live brass band playing in the plaza. And everywhere you go, there's chocolate. Yes. And it was so awesome. I mean, being with the love of my life, walking through this old, beautiful town, through the snow and through the lights, and eating all that chocolate, it just was something I'll never forget. And we got to spend 2 days there, so it was doubly delicious. But I want to play this song, which was inspired by my days in Salzburg. It's called Big Snow in Salzburg. Sorry about that little technical problem there. There's this knob, I have to turn it down or else the internet people get this mic from the piano too and it blows their ears out. That's what was going on. I didn't make a mistake. Seriously, I didn't. It was just like I started playing, I'm like, wait, they're getting their ears blown out, so I got to do this, and there was no... Anyway, okay, so moving on. So we're going to give away some CDs. So do you guys have your handy-dandy cards that you hopefully filled out? And we'll, why don't you guys just kind of pass them down to the ends, and we'll...
We'll do 4 since we did 4.
Okay, well, I got 3 more here.
Oh, you got some?
Yeah. Cool. Do we need some for tomorrow night?
Yeah.
Do we have more in there for tomorrow night already? Or is this the last of them?
That's right.
This is what you have? But this isn't what I have.
We got some more coming. Hold on.
Cool, okay. Well, we're going to give away more CDs.
Yeah, let's do it.
We'll give away a bunch of them. Why not? Cool.
Take a moment if you want to fill them out. That's cool.
Yeah, we got a sec. Thank you.
A few more coming.
Thank you. Thank you. So there's more coming?
I think we're good.
Are we good?
One more. One more. One more.
Okay, the only rule is, if you're like me, and like if I went to a concert with my wife and I and had like a little drawing thing, we'd both put one in. So I'm sure that you all put one in. So the only rule is, if you win one, let's just have one per family. Okay, that way. Now, what we've got here is, we got a bunch of these. We usually just give away 3 CDs, but hey, he handed me a bunch, so why not? So we'll just give away a bunch of these. This is a sampler CD of Whisperings solo piano artists. It's a Whisperings radio sampler. So it's got 10 tracks on it. It's amazing. It gives you an idea of the station. It's a really good, fun CD. So we're giving away a gob of these. A gob is 5. So. And then just a couple specialty things here we have. I have an album called The Celtic Dream by Michelle McLaughlin, and somebody knows her. And it's a really fantastic CD. It's actually one of my favorites of hers. She has a Christmas album that we all have Christmas albums. Well, Michael, you got to catch up, man. Okay. But we got some Christmas albums, and so if you like that, but I got to tell you, Michelle's Christmas album is incredible. Last year, it was nominated for Album of the Year, even though it was a Christmas album. So for me to do that, I had to really like it. Okay, but this is her Celtic Dream album. It's fantastic. And this Scott D. Davis is kind of our rock and roller. I mean, this guy, he's a solo piano artist, but he like opens for metal bands. Like, who's some of the guys he's played with? Like Metallica. He hasn't played with Metallica yet, huh?
I don't know.
You know.
I thought he had. He was going to.
I know he plays Metallica.
Oh, he plays a Metallica song.
But if I knew heavy metal bands, I'd tell you who they are. But there's some big ones in there that I know he's played with, and I'm like,
Shiprock, The Cruise with Motley Crue.
That's right.
Whitesnake, all those guys.
Yeah, and he was on there with them. So, but anyway, this guy, he does solo piano, but it's rock and stuff. So this is solo piano, and it's his versions of things like Guns N' Roses' Sweet Child of Mine. You got to hear his solo piano version of White Wedding by Billy Idol. It's really something. So what I'm going to do is we'll do the drawing, and then you can have your choice until I run out of choices. If you want, you can have Scott D. Davis' rock piano album. You can have Michelle McLaughlin's Celtic Dream, or you can have the Whisperings radio sampler. And then once these are gone, well, obviously I just have the samplers to give away. But anyway, so if you win, you want to win early, because then you get your choice. All right. So I'm just going to mix these up. Yeah, that's good. You know, we reserved the couch, and then nobody ended up using it. I'm really sorry about that. Okay, let's do. Let's draw one. Big card, big card. I can't tell you what it is. Okay. Robert Burr. Back in the corner. So which one do you want?
I'll try the Celtic Dream.
Celtic Dream. Okay. I got those back. Okay. And Janie Trowbridge. Which one would you like?
The hard rock.
All right. It's okay. We won't tell anybody. It's all right. It's all right. All right. So we got the samplers left. We'll give out a bunch of these. And right off the top, Suzanne Huff.
Right here?
Awesome. Phil Heenan. Awesome. Good. And let's see. Here we have a manly man. Iris Dominguez. Okay. Thank you for being on. Try again. Alex Tran. Thank you. Now you can never say you never won anything. What do I got? I got 2 left here. Here. Why don't you take out, draw 2 for me. 2. Lisa. Are you guys together?
We're together, but we live 45 miles.
Okay, that. All right.
We came in the same car.
Yeah. Ellen Crispo.
Yes.
Okay. So what we're going to do, we're going to finish up here and do a little. Is there anything we need to do with the internet people? Hi, internet people.
Hey, guys.
I'm sorry. I hope you hung in there. I'm sorry that was kind of long and boring.
We're not done yet.
But we all good? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a little improv thing, and I'm going to kind of start a little vamp, and then Joe's going to come up and he's going to kind of play around on top of it, and then Philip and Michael will come up and do the same thing. And I don't know if this will be wonderful or if it'll be wonky. We had a show at 3 o'clock, and that was pretty wonky. So I'm hoping this will be wonderful for you guys. So here we go. I wanted to thank you guys again for coming. And just remember, Whispering Solo Piano Radio online to solopianoradio.com. You can tune in. It's free. And I guess that's about it. So glad you guys came out. Thank you very much. Okay, here we go. so much for coming. We had a ball, and we just so appreciate you coming out. Please tell other folks, and when we come back in town, if you sign up for the mailing list, we'll let you know when we come back to town, and bring people. Obviously we filled up, and we had this show, and we filled it up so much we added a matinee show, and then we filled that up. So that was really cool. Next time we'll have to do 3 or 4, or else we have to get like a bigger venue.
It'll be breakfast.
Anyway, but it's kind of cool. The house thing is nice. It's really nice. So I've had a good time. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I was trying to make room for you. You were like crowded in the top.
That's all right. I have my little hammer on going.
Everybody was